Let's go ahead and talk quickly about consciousness. So what exactly is consciousness? Understand that at your core, your spirit governing a human body with access to tools, namely your mind power, your willpower, and your emotions. So there are different names for spirit depending on the culture that you come from. So we could call the spirit, source energy, consciousness, the watcher, chi, etc. At your core, you are consciousness. You are the conscious observer of the mind, and the mind generates thoughts. You are the conscious observer of your emotions because you're not your emotions. And you have a will. You have a body. You are not the body. For example, if we say that Tom lost his mind, then Tom cannot be the mind. If Tom is an amputee and Tom lost a leg, then Tom has lost a limb. Tom hasn't lost himself, because at your core, you are spirit or consciousness. Now, as it relates to pathological narcissism, understand that at its core, you are dealing with a spiritual disorder where these individuals have dissociated from their spirit in childhood. So physically, you will be dealing with someone that is, let's say, 50, but at their core, they're going to act like a 5-year-old because at their core, that is where they developed. That is how far they developed to. When they got to about 5 years old, then they dissociated from their spirit and they identified with their ego, the mask, the false self. Pathological narcissists believe that they are the ego. They believe that they are the mask. They believe that they are the false self. Hence, pathological narcissists do not exist. I don't know who exactly you're dealing with. Let's say you're dealing with a narcissist in an intimate setting. Then understand that on day 0, you are being lied to. The ego is a figment of a child's imagination that now exists inside of an adult's body. You are not the ego. And this is why you had a spiritual awakening or an ego death or the dark night of the soul. So you let go of the ego and that energy gets diverted back to the spirit and then you spiritually awaken. Pathological narcissists believe that they are the ego. They believe that they are the false self. And if you say something that goes against this false self, then they have a narcissistic injury. And what is a narcissistic injury? A narcissistic injury is when a pathological narcissist perceives a threat, whether real or imagined, that goes against the false self. They believe that they are the false self. They believe that they are the figment of their imagination. So understand that Jim Carrey, who plays Stanley Ipkiss in The Mask, believes that he is the mask. The mask is glued to his face. Pathological narcissists don't have a connection to their spirit. This means that when you're interacting with this individual, you are interacting with a mind-made construct. You're talking to a mask. You cannot talk to the true self of that individual because they did not develop a true self. They developed multiple false selves, multiple masks, a variety of masks, because they don't have a connection to their spirit. You are spiritual beings having a human experience. Pathological narcissists are ego beings having a physical experience. We say that again. You're supposed to be a spiritual being having a human experience. Pathological narcissists are ego beings having a physical experience. And what is the ego? The ego is a mind-made construct. It is the figment of a child's imagination. And this really is no different from me coming on here on the internet telling you that I'm Wonder Woman. And if you don't believe my Wonder Woman math, then I'm going to get upset with you because that has caused a narcissistic injury. And then I'm going to take that Wonder Woman mask off and put on a Thor mask. Maybe the Thor mask will work today. And if that does not work, then I'm going to take that off and put on a Spider-Man mask. Why? Because narcissists do not have a connection to their spirit. They believe that they are the false self. It is important that you understand truly who you are. Because when you truly understand who you are, you will know how to discern between the dead and the living. And what do I mean by discerning between the dead and the living? You are spirit. You are life. You are life force. You are source energy. You are consciousness. Pathological narcissists disconnected from their source. They disconnected from spirit. They disconnected from their core in childhood. So they did not develop a true self. You cannot know a pathological narcissist because they don't exist. They don't know themselves, and neither can you because they did not develop a true self. It is a false premise to believe that people are their bodies. We are not bodies. We have a body. You could go to a funeral. Body will be in the casket. You do not have access to the life force that was governing the body. So let's say this person's name is Tom. Tom's body is in the casket, but you do not have access to Tom, the life force energy, anymore. It is important to understand that when you are interacting with a person, you see flesh walking around. The first thing that you should be discerning is that individual conscious? Are they aware that they are consciousness? Or do they believe that they are the figment of their imagination? Oftentimes you'll be talking to people and you'll be talking to them and they have a blank stare. You're just looking at you and you're saying very mundane things, but they just can't understand you. They can't understand you because they are not there. We do not operate all from the same level of consciousness. There are 8 billion people on this planet. There are some people that are growing. Then there are some people that are not growing. There are people that are evolving. Then there are people that are devolving. Pathological narcissism is regressive. Your I am should come from the spirit level. Pathological narcissist, I am comes from the mind level. If I came on the internet saying that I am my mind, then I am someone that is losing my mind because my mind is a tool. And this is why you're dealing with someone that is technically, clinically insane, because pathological narcissists have identified with their mind. They believe that they are the mask. And when you say, hey, I don't believe that, you're being fake, they get upset with you because this causes a narcissistic injury. And what is a narcissistic injury? It is when a narcissist perceives a threat, whether real or imagined, that goes against the grandiose false self, that goes against the figment of their imagination. You are dealing with someone that is losing their mind. They are losing their souls. They are lost souls. Hence, they have a personality disorder. You cannot know a pathological narcissist because they do not exist. You have been interacting with a mind-made construct, a figment of a child's imagination now existing inside of an adult's body. Anything you pour into a narcissist is going into the sunken place. It is going into the upside down. It is going into an abyss because they don't have a true self. They don't have a connection to their spirit. They are unconscious. They embody unconsciousness. Their lights are on dim. The lights are on. Nobody's home. And nobody's home because they are not there.